Okay, so I am not a financial advisor and I do not play one on TV. Nothing I mention in this video should be construed as investment advice. I'm not an investment advisor. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This is the Hey Ed YouTube channel, and I am your host, moderator, and all-around nice guy, Edward Anderson. And boy, pretty catchy and dramatic thumbnail, right? Yeah, this is pretty dramatic stuff. And as much as I like to try to keep things lighthearted, I got to tell you, things are getting pretty dramatic here. And there are some things you really have to know. I'm going to try to keep this video short and pithy, but there is some important stuff that you just have to know. So I want to make sure that I hit on all the important things that I really want to say, even if this video goes a little bit longer than usual, because it's so important. Please watch this whole thing. Now, I'm a very small channel because I'm not a professional YouTuber. I don't know how to promote my videos like other guys do. But if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and maybe even leave a comment and a like because it helps the algorithm, and maybe even share this to other people because this is important stuff and people do need to hear it. I don't make these videos to make money on the YouTube videos. That's not my gig. Okay. Okay. But this is important stuff. So in the thumbnail, I pretty much infer that the dollar is toast. The dollar is gone. And I do think in a large measure, it already is. And I think the writing is kind of on the wall, and you have to know about this. You have to start taking measures so that you can survive it and maybe even take advantage of it. And that's what we're going to cover here. All right, let's get a few unfun facts out of the way. This is all true stuff that I'm about to tell you. Okay, so in 1971, the US dollar was taken off of the gold standard. And ever since then, the dollar has been on a steady decline. Listen to this. Since 1971, the buying power of the US dollar has decreased by 98%. 98%. And in the last 20 years alone, it is the buying power has been reduced by 44%. And now you're going to love this one. 40% of all US dollars in existence has been created in the past 2 years alone. We all know that there's value in scarcity. And when you print dollars the way the Federal Reserve has been printing them, the dollars are not scarce anymore. See this? See the words Federal Reserve note? Look at the money that's in your wallet. And it says Federal Reserve note. That means it's a debt instrument. It's a debt instrument. It's not real money. It's not backed by anything. It used to be backed by gold prior to 1971, but ever since then, it's not backed by anything. It's made up. It's money out of thin air. It is fugazi, all right? It's like from the movie, right? It's fairy dust. It's not real. It's made up stuff. Here's another unfun fact for you. 100% of all fiat currencies, all 100% of all fiat currencies that have ever existed have failed. They have a 100% failure rate. Now, it's true that the US dollar is the longest lasting one, and it's true that at the moment, it's still the world's reserve currency, but the writing is on the wall for that too. If you notice that the Russian ruble in one day lost 40% of its value. Now it's down, I don't know how much, it's lost about 80% of its value. Overnight, Russians woke up to find that their rubles were worth 40 to 80% less than the night before when they went to bed. They woke up and it's just gone, all right? And if you think that can't happen here, it can happen here. And there are reasons why it can happen here. Okay, now it's important that you know that other countries around the world have been moving away from using the US dollar as their reserve currency for about a decade now. Many of these countries have been developing their own digital currency, right, called the CBDC, right, in our case, the central bank digital currency, also known as the Fed coin. Ours is created, and it's going through beta testing at MIT in Massachusetts. So that's the end game. They want us all in the end to be on a digital currency, just like China is. That's what eventually they want us all to do. Now, this might not happen overnight, but it's going to happen relatively quickly. And the process of getting there is going to be ugly. While we're getting to that new digital currency, the dollars that we do have are going to be destroyed every day. The official inflation rate last month was 7.5%. Well, this month it went up to 7.9%. Now, those are the official numbers. We all know, anybody who does any kind of shopping knows that the real inflation rate is probably closer to 15 to 20%, and it's only going to get worse. Now, that means that any dollars that you have sitting in the bank or in your wallet, any dollar bill, any dollar that you have is losing money. It's a guaranteed loss. People think that they're being conservative, that they're being smart by keeping their money in their savings account or in their checking account. No, it's a guaranteed loss. You're losing money because with inflation, it's a guaranteed loss. I mean, if your bank is paying you, say, 1% on your checking account or savings account, and inflation is running at 8%, right away, you're losing 7% a year, okay, right out of the gate. I mean, it's insane. You are not being smart by keeping your money in the bank. It's a guaranteed loss. Now, that's the reason, by the way, why the stock market has been doing so well over the past few years, is because the Fed has artificially kept interest rates low in order to prop up the stock market. How does that happen? Well, people look at what they're getting in the bank, and they're saying, I can't live on that. So they have to find yield somewhere. So they turn to the stock market. That is why the stock market is up so much. And that is why the market right now is very nervous, because the Federal Reserve is starting to make noises about raising interest rates. Now, the Federal Reserve is in a very tight spot, okay, because they printed so many dollars over the past several years. They're damned if they do, and they're damned if they don't. Okay, now their mandate is to fight inflation. That's what they're supposed to be doing. And their biggest tool for fighting inflation is interest rates. And to do that, they raise interest rates in order to dampen inflation. That's the idea behind it. Well, their target rate is supposed to be 2% or less on inflation. Well, inflation right now is running at basically 8%. Those are the official numbers. So they're not doing a very good job. So they should be raising rates dramatically. Their talk about raising rates by 0.25% or 0.5% is ridiculous. It's not going to do anything. For them to fight inflation effectively, they're going to have to move their interest rates up to the 8-9% level. Well, in 2014, the Federal Reserve did bump their interest rates up to 2.5%. Okay, but when they did that, the market had a fit, and the market sold off dramatically because the market has been spoiled. The market has been given financial heroin for years by the Federal Reserve. And so when the Federal Reserve bumped it up just to 2.5%, the market sold off. So what do you think would happen if the Federal Reserve actually raises rates to 8% or more in order to fight inflation? Can you imagine what the market's going to do? So things don't look very good. But that is what the Federal Reserve is supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be raising rates to fight inflation. Because if they don't, we're going to head to what they call hyperinflation, which I think is coming. Now, the definition of hyperinflation is an inflation rate of 50% per month or more. Wow. Okay. We're talking Venezuela territory. Okay. We're talking Weimar Republic after World War I territory. This is really, really ugly stuff. Okay, another thing you have to worry about is that there is a lot of exposure right now in the worldwide financial markets to the derivative industry. Now, if any of you saw the movie The Big Short, one of the big causes of the financial crisis of 2008 and 2009 was the derivatives market. I won't explain it here because I want to respect your time. Right now, we have over $1 quadrillion worldwide in exposure to derivatives. Derivatives are largely a bet on the direction of interest rates. The 5 largest banks in New York have over $270 trillion in exposure to derivatives. Now, to put that in perspective, the entire GDP of America is 20 trillion a year, and the banks have $270 trillion of exposure. So if there's a bad day and these derivatives go in the wrong direction, you're going to see major banks wiped out overnight. You're going to wake up and they're going to be gone. And as soon as the first one is wiped out, the other ones are going to follow. Okay, now last time around, we saved the banking system with what we call bailouts, right? Where the taxpayer, our money was used to pump money into the big banks so that they wouldn't fail, too big to fail, remember? The next time we have that financial crisis, there is not going to be a public appetite for bailouts. And the politicians are at least that smart. At least they do follow that. So these geniuses, these corrupt people, not just in America, but around the world, they came up with a new scheme called bail-in laws. This is the brainchild of an outfit out of Switzerland. The plan that came up with is, well, let's pass a law that allows these banks to confiscate the money of the bank holders in order to purchase shares in their bank. So that is a law all the way throughout the EU. It's a law in England, it's a law in Canada, and it's a law in the United States of America, where the banks have the legal right to take your money without your permission and use that money to purchase shares in their bank. So congratulations, you now own shares in a failing bank. And people think, well, how can they do that? That's my money. No, it isn't. Do you know that legally, the money in your bank is not considered your money? It's considered a loan. That's why they pay you your measly 1%, a year on it. It's considered a loan. Legally, it's not considered your money. So we have a lot of things to worry about here. I'm throwing a lot at you in a short period of time, and there's more that I want to get to, but let's cut to the chase. Okay, there are a few things you have to worry about. Number one, you have to worry that one day you could wake up and your money, or a good chunk of your money in your bank account, is gone because the bank used it. They bailed it in order to purchase shares of their failing bank. That could happen. Okay, that's one issue. Issue number two, let's say they have not done that, but you want to get your money out of the bank. The reserves at banks are very, very, very small. It's around 5%. Okay, so if there was to be a run on the bank, if you woke up one day and there was an event and a lot of people go to the bank to get their cash out of the bank, like the lines you saw in Ukraine and in Russia and in Europe, you're not going to get your money out. If you're lucky, they might let you take 10 cents on the dollar out of your account. That could happen. Bank runs can happen. So the first thing you have to do is protect yourself against the bail-in laws and against the possibility of bank runs and not being able to get your money out. So the very first thing that you have to do is start finding ways to extract yourself from the traditional financial system, your bank. Now, the first thing you have to do is just get the cash out, get this literally out of the bank. All right, so you have your cash in hand, but okay, that solves one problem, but then you still have a fistful of a depreciating asset. Is still losing value every day because of inflation. So what do you do then? Well, then I suggest you keep a chunk of your money and you keep it in cash. You got to have cash, okay? Then take a large chunk of it and start buying these guys. Start buying, silver and gold. These are the only two currencies in the entire world. That's it, silver and gold. So buy a bunch of those. And please stick around because I'm going to be talking to you about what I expect silver and gold to do in the very short term. Okay, I'm going to get to that. Please stick around. Okay, so get some of your money into precious metals. Okay, literally silver and gold. Do it. And by the way, when you do that, I suggest you go into a local coin dealer and you buy your gold and silver in cash. By getting your cash literally out of the bank, you have reduced the chance of your money being stolen by your bank, and you have cash on hand. And by the way, you should keep some money in the bank, for bill paying and stuff. Now, what I do is I keep about 3 months worth of bill paying stuff in the bank. Everything else I take. By the way, again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just one man's opinion, and do what you want with it. Okay, so you've gotten your cash out of the bank. You bought some gold and silver. And what's the last thing that you need to do? you need to develop some kind of passive recurring income. Because if we head into hyperinflation and then we head into possibly a depression, and I'm talking about grapes of wrath type stuff, okay? Okay, it could happen. You think it can happen? It can happen. We all know about the shortages that are going on right now for a whole host of reasons. Shortages are happening for a lot of reasons. So if we're to head into a hyperinflationary environment, and if you lose your job and you're already living month to month, what are you going to do? You have to develop passive recurring income. Now, I am in a program where I have that. I'm in a program, I've been in it for 11 months now, where I'm getting spectacular passive recurring income. Passive means I don't have to work for it. And recurring means it happens all the time. It just keeps coming in. I get it every single day, 7 days a week. And I can't mention that program specifically in a YouTube video because there are rules about that. But if you want to learn about that, contact me in the description below, and I will fill you in on the details. But you got to figure whether it's a program that I'm in or something else. Find something that's going to get you reliable, passive, recurring income. You got to develop that. Now, the first few steps I can't help you with. Getting your money out of the bank and purchasing some gold and silver. I'm not an affiliate with any kind of gold or silver deal or anything like that. I can't help you with that. For the passive income program, I can help you with that. Get a hold of me and I'll talk you through it and set you up. I'll explain the whole thing to you. Okay. I hope you're still here. I hope you're listening to this. And now I'm going to be talking about what I expect to happen with gold and silver. Please listen to this part. Okay. So yesterday, nickel, not silver and gold, but nickel was shut down on the LME, which is the London Metals Exchange. Trading was shut down because there was a short squeeze in the middle. It ran up 90% in a day, and they shut it down. They stopped trading because of the short squeeze that was going on. So a massive run up in nickel. Okay, who would have thought? It came out of nowhere, but it happened, and it happened because exactly what you would suspect. With the upcoming shortages going on. So there you have a base metal, nickel, that shut up 90% in one day. And they suspect that it may stay shut down for several days. Okay, that's the demand is just going through the roof. Now, that demand created what's called a short squeeze. All right, well, if that happened to nickel, what do you think could happen to this guy? To silver? I think every day that silver has not had a run, you should consider a gift. Okay, you should start building up a position in silver right now while you can, before a short squeeze happens. Now, do I know for sure that a short squeeze is going to happen? No, I can't guarantee anything. You know, who am I? But I can read the writing on the wall. And besides, it's silver. And gold too. You should sock away some gold too. They're going to run in tandem, right? Silver is going to have a larger percentage move, but they're both going to go. But I can't guarantee it. But listen, even if they don't have big, enormous runs, you're still sitting on gold and silver. With everything going on in the world, do you really think gold and silver is a risky investment? I mean, listen, if you're sitting on cash in the bank, you know, you're sitting on a guarantee that I can guarantee a loss on. I can promise you, you're losing money on that. You're losing buying power every single day. So I have no problem suggesting, you know, gold and silver. But this is for protection, right? This is for survival, and this is for actually making some money in the difficult times coming up. But for real inflation, this is where we want to look into the program that I'm in. It's a 3X program. So that takes care of my inflationary issues, right? Okay, 3X, that should be plenty to overcome inflationary issues. It's a fantastic program, and it's something that you should have as part of your mix of things to do. We are living in a moment in time. Okay, just like 20 years from now, your kids are going to be talking to their kids about their experience with COVID. Well, they're also going to be talking about the subsequent, you know, recession, big time recession, maybe even depression that they lived through. So you need to be prepared. You need to be proactive. You can't just close your eyes, keep your head down. You have to pay attention to what's going on, and you have to take steps to protect yourself. And you can't wait to do it, because all these things are going to happen rapidly. The event, like the issues surrounding the banks, okay, that's going to be an overnight thing. Okay, literally, you're going to wake up and there's going to be a bank run. You can't get your money out. Or you're going to wake up and the bank confiscated your money and did a bail-in. Those kind of things will happen overnight, just like they did in Russia, just like they did in Canada a few weeks ago. Canada, of all places. If Canada can do it, they're supposed to be nice people, right? That's their reputation, the nice people. Maybe Canadians aren't as nice as their reputation would lead you to believe. But if they can do it for a made-up reason, why couldn't it happen anywhere in the world? By the way, everything I talked about here applies to every fiat currency around the world. And the program I'm in is available to anyone in the world. So wherever you are, if you want to look into that program, get a hold of me and I'll talk you through it. So there it is. Please support my channel. I'm kind of a blunt instrument. So please share the video, get this word out. And Edward Anderson signing out.
Copy that.